Oh my god! Oh my god! I mean, you gotta love your woman every day of the month. Am I right, fellas? Hi everybody, it's your Highness Pubert here. Are y'all ready for another game review? Yes. Yes, you are. This time around, we're reviewing Cursed Castilla EX, or, as it was originally called, Maldita Castilla, which is a way cooler name in my opinion, but that's besides the point. The game was developed by two people, Loco Malito and Grisor87. It was originally freeware and released in 2012, but was ported to consoles like the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch a bit later with more content. I'll be reviewing the console port on the Switch since that's what I played. Cursed Castilla is a unique platformer heavily inspired by the Ghosts and Goblins franchise, with lots of Spanish and European themes. You know Ghosts and Goblins, right? No? You have to be fucking kidding me. Am I the only real gamer around here? For fuck's sake! Ghosts and Goblins looks like this. Marvel in all of its glory. Basically, they're both really hard platformers that I really enjoy and that you should play. Let's get started with the story, shall we? Cursed Castilla starts off by telling you why you're doing what you're doing. Basically, in the year 1081, there was an assload of war going on for like no reason, and a woman by the name of Moira, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, had lost her beloved when a demon heard her crying about it. Seduced by the demon's powers, she then decided to make her tears into a magic key and unlock the door to the underworld, releasing a fuck ton of demons out into the kingdom of Castilla. Damn. Women, am I right? First, you gotta take a bite out of the forbidden apple when you were explicitly told not to, just because a funny snake told you so, and now you want to kill everyone just because your boy toy died? I can respect that. So, what's the Kingdom of Castilla gonna do about this horrific situation? They're gonna send their best men out to reseal the door and save the kingdom, that's what. If you were expecting them to do anything else, you're fucking dumb. The men appointed by the King of Castilla to do the job are Don Ramiro, Quesada, Don Diego, and Mendoza. I mean, personally, I would have sent a couple more people since, you know, you're trying to beat the entirety of the forces of the underworld. Maybe you could send like a whole battalion out there. That's just my advice, but, you know, I'm not the king, so I guess I don't have much say in this. Alright, so that's the story. How's the presentation? It's pretty basic. The sprite work isn't the most phenomenal in the world, but for what it's trying to achieve, it's really freaking good. The animations are all really well done as well, and the music too. It's all very reminiscent of Ghosts and Goblins and all the other old arcade games. In fact, the game tries to convince you it's an authentic arcade game by booting up as if you were loading up a ROM on an emulator on your computer. Just a random little PSA. Don't emulate Nintendo games, kids, or else Mario will come to your house and shove his mushroom so far up your ass, you'll see power stars. Hey! My favorite thing about the game is all the imagery. It's all pretty grotesque, but in a charming, arcadey way. Like here you got birds picking at a corpse, you got some dude hanging on the gallows, a headless corpse looking for its head in a pile of corpses, more people hanging, a headless knight. It's all very grotesque stuff, but it isn't hard to look at because, you know, they're sprites. I'm a big fan of brutal and fucked up shit in media, so this kind of stuff makes the game pretty cool in my book. I also enjoy some of the environments. They can be kind of basic at times, like there's a windmill town, the inside of a castle, or just dungeons, but they lead on to really cool environments like a burning library, a dungeon covered in web-like goop, and hell, where you get to walk on dead people. I've always wanted to walk on dead people. Most, if not all, of the enemies and bosses come from Spanish and European myths and folklore. We got the Tarasca, which is basically a funny looking turtle that attacks men trying to cross a river. Crazy Quixote, which is based off the story of Don Quixote, who's a man that doesn't see the world for what it is and prefers to live out his crazy fantasy stories. And the Tragaldabas, which is part of a story about a fat, disgusting creature, aka your mom, that eats 3 little girls and a battalion of soldiers, and then tries to eat a small ant, but the ant then bites him in the ass, and because of that, he shits all the people out. I'm not entirely sure if that last part is actually how the story goes, because I found it on a weird wiki page, but it's really funny, so I'm gonna pretend that's how it goes. I'm always fascinated by the fucked up folklore a country has, so basing the enemies on this stuff in a video game really makes it that much cooler in my book. Now I'm guessing you're dying to know how the game plays, right? Well, it plays exactly the way you'd expect. You run, jump, and shoot. That's all there is to it, so easy enough, right? It's not. For starters though, the character you get to play as is Don Ramiro. He just gets dropped off at the castle all by himself. Yeah, just him against the forces of the underworld. I mean, what could go wrong? I'm good at video games, alright? Just like Ghosts and Goblins, it's hard as shit. The things that make this game difficult are what makes all of those old NES games difficult. Some of the main things that make old NES games hard are the jump arc you're committed and married to when you hit that button, the knockback when you get hit, and the design of the enemy placements. However, in Cursed Castilla, you're not necessarily married to the jump arc. You can slow yourself down halfway through, so basically you can file a divorce for the jump arc in the middle of it. You don't gotta have kids with it and stick it out for 18 years, you know? There's hope. Also, the game gives you 3 hits instead of the traditional 2. Other than that, Cursed Castilla is still pretty ruthless. Like Ghosts and Goblins, there are different weapons you can obtain. There's your basic sword, and then there's the daggers, the axe, the bolas, the sickles, and the holy fire. I think the 2 best ones are the bolas and the sword you start out with, mostly because they go the farthest and go straight. I also enjoy using the sickles since you can shoot 3 at a time instead of 2 like the ones mentioned before. But they don't go very far, so I don't like using them that often. However, unlike Ghosts and Goblins, you can throw your weapons in 4 directions, which is super useful. And also, unlike Ghosts and Goblins, you get unique power-ups like a blue fairy that helps you kill enemies, the boots which give you a double jump, a ×2 that multiplies your score so you can get extra lives faster, and a shield that gives you an extra hit. Which is very unusual because Don Ramiro carries a shield with him at all times! It's really hard to believe this singular incompetent man managed to repel the forces of the underworld. Satan, you might want to rethink your whole strategy here because the more I play this game, the less I'm afraid of you. However, I will give him credit where credit is due. He did manage to kill Quesada early on and turn the rest of Don Ramiro's squad into ghouls and make them cool bosses. This whole your friends turning into ghouls event makes the world feel more alive without bogging you down with cutscenes or something. Because things are happening that you weren't there for, just like real life. My feelings on this can basically be summed up with, "Woohoo! My friends are dead! That's so awesome!" You wanna know what else Cursed Castilla does that Ghosts and Goblins also does? It does that thing where you have to beat the game twice to actually beat it. It doesn't really, but if you're one of those people that wants to see everything a game has to offer, like me, you're probably gonna play it twice. Basically, the original Ghosts and Goblins has this demented sense of humor, where when you finally get through the most difficult game you've ever played in your life, it spits in your mouth while shoving its throbbing meat scepter into your ass, and makes you play the entire game again because the final boss was apparently an illusion created by Satan to trick you, because video games. Oh, and it's harder the second time around. Have I ever gotten the true ending to Ghosts and Goblins? Fuck no. I like my asshole nice and tight, thank you very much. Honestly though, I can't even get past the second level. I have a really hard time with it. But that might be because I keep playing it on this tiny Game Boy screen. Cursed Castilla isn't as hard, don't worry. It actually asks you for consent before violating your orifices. If you play the game without looking anything about it up, you will most likely get the bad ending, where after you beat Mora, she will, oh my god! Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to go to the restroom for about like 24.3 seconds, alright? I'll be right back. Yeah, so after you defeat Mora's sexy snake lady form, the game proceeds to tell you that in order to open the gate, you need to find 5 of Mora's tears that are hidden throughout the levels. Which then Don Ramiro replies with, I mean, I get that he can't really do much after that point, but I thought he would say something more along the lines of, I have failed my quest to save my kingdom! How can I face my king under such failure? And then command seppuku but in Spanish or something, rather than just, well shit. Speaking of facing his king, as the credits roll, it does show him going back to his king on horseback. I mean, the kingdom is still swarming with demons, I would assume, so I'm surprised he made it back so easily, but that's besides the point. He goes back to his king and finds that his king has become a ghoul as well, and then he gets killed by 2 spooky demons. At that point, you have the option of going through each of the levels again and finding the hidden tiers, which there are no hints to where they are. You just have to explore the levels and hope to God you find them. I'm an adult. I have no time to look for such things. They're here, and here. I have no idea how you were just supposed to know where some of these are. Like, for one of them, you have to kneel at this tree, then throw your sword at that spot there. I just wish these things weren't so hidden. Alright, now that you have the tiers, after the sexy fight with Mora, you end up getting sucked into hell and have to beat a whole other level before you beat the true final boss. It's easily the hardest level of the game. Before you get the hang of it, you'll die like a dillion times. You heard that right, a dillion! That's like a dillion zeros! There's even a pretty cool looking mid-boss that throws sides at you. After you beat all that, a cool looking Reaper guy comes down from above sounding a horn, saying that you're gonna die, signifying the boss ahead, and you get to choose your regular weapon and special weapon to fight the boss with. You better choose wisely because fuck, it's hard! Basically, you get to fight the satanic version of the Last Supper, except there's only 5 of them. 4 of the funny demons and Luciferel. You first fight the funny demons, which are pretty easy after a couple attempts. And then there comes Luciferel. This dude's a gigantic pain in the ass to beat because his projectiles are so wonky. And then after a bit, these winged little demon things start coming from above to molest you. Oh, but look, I did it! I beat him! No, I didn't. His heart's a demon too. I fucking love it! Oh my god! The hardest part about this phase is actually hitting the heart. It just moves around way too much, but I managed to beat it. I guess now that means we get to see the good ending. Huh? I didn't ask to be a floating blue testicle. Fuck! This game is so fucking hard! That probably doesn't mean anything, right? Huh. Well, I guess I did. Apparently, after you use more than 4 continues, you give up your soul to the cool hooded skeleton man with the horn to continue playing the game. And after you beat the game, he collects on that debt and takes your soul. He can take mine for all I care because after marrying my ex-wife, I might as well not have had one. Am I right, fellas? Not only do you have to beat the game, you have to beat the game without using 4 continues! Ugh! I think it's gamer time. I'm not leaving this chair until I beat this motherfucking game! We're speedrunning this bitch! Time to get your ass fucked, Curse Castilla. Ah! That speedrun counter is lying. It actually took way longer than an hour to get the good ending. But I did discover a not so secret little exploit to be able to do this a little easier. The game has a continue system you can use since, you know, the developer didn't want you starting over from the beginning every time you turned the game off. So you can actually try and beat a level, then quit if you ended up using continue, and restarting that specific level until you beat it without using one. Granted, the levels are extremely long, so this still wastes a huge chunk of your time, but it does beat playing the entire game over again every time you game over. If you get to the hell part without using any continues, you can keep restarting from the very beginning of the hell level if you game over too much at the final boss, which you will, unless you're a god amongst men. Which you're not. I did end up getting to the hell level after losing only 1 continue, and it was extremely hard getting to the boss without using up another one. So I ended up playing the hell level a fucking lot. However, I did it!
Yay!
Alright, now let's see that best ending. Oh, how cute! She gets her boy toy back. Oh wow, how nice! The king prepares me a huge banquet after promising to bury my friends. How fucking rad! Ah yes, I'm definitely enjoying the only moment of glory I've ever had in my entire life. Thank you! I am very proud of my great play. Thank you very much, game. Excuse me? Here, look at this footage. This is what you get for doing all those challenges. A statue in your honor. Pubert, is this your footage? I hear you question, to which I say, I'm not obligated to answer that. All joking aside though, the game is really fun if you enjoy difficult retro games and or the Ghosts and Goblins series. It's a really nice tribute to the series. If you're one of those pussies that doesn't know if they enjoy challenging games or not, then you should definitely give this one a try. It's actually not that hard if you know your way around a retro video game or two. Regardless of that, I'd still suggest you give it a shot. There was clearly a lot of passion put into this title, and the creator knew exactly what made Ghosts and Goblins so great all those years ago. So, let's all give a round of applause to Loco Malito. Yeah! Woo! Give it up! Woohoo! Yeah! Woohoo! Oh my god, Mora is so fucking hot. Woo! Yay! Please buy this game, for the love of God. Please. My favorite. Balls. Testicles.